Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Uriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. It's Sunday, and the sun is out in Washington, D.C., and we're very happy to report that. We're here at one of our salt domes where our crews are hard at work to provide the latest in our regular updates on Blizzard 2016. Today, we're really focused on digging out Washington, D.C. And today is day one of our effort to dig out from 2 feet of snow. It isn't forecasted to go above freezing today. I'm not sure if that, and Director Geldhart will come and give us a specific update about the weather forecast. Our goal today continues to be to make the major roads passable and to do as much as we can on secondary roads. And that work will continue for the coming days. We're very happy to report that a lot of new equipment arrived in Washington, D.C. today that is being dispatched for this part of our snow recovery phase for this storm. And that has always been our plan. We expect more than 400 pieces of equipment to arrive at RFK and other locations today, including plows, bobcats, and dump trucks. This will more than triple our snow removal equipment. We're asking residents to stay off the streets. The crews need access to the streets to clear them safely so that we can get DC back. First of all, we need you to not only keep your vehicles off the streets, we need you to keep yourselves off the streets as well. We are moving into a different phase as well about our the declaration of an emergency in the district. We're still operating under an emergency in the district, and we will have to. For anybody who impedes our ability to get plows down the street, if you come out and you get yourself stuck on one of our streets, I have to tell you, we will aggressively ticket you and tow your vehicle. So it will not continue to impede our snow operation. And Chief Lanier is going to talk to you a little bit about that. Please remember also that our snow emergency is in effect as it relates to parking on snow emergency routes. Do not park on snow emergency routes. You will be ticketed and you will be towed. The tickets are $250. Do not park on snow emergency routes. Today, we're not only digging out, but we're asking all the residents of the District of Columbia, and we're asking DC businesses to dig out as well. So please help us clear the sidewalks. We can get back to normal in Washington, D.C. when we have access to all our roads, sidewalks, bus stops, and transit stations. So please help us with the dig out. A lot of volunteers have stepped up to the plate that volunteered for our D.C. resident snow team, and they have already been dispatched to help their neighbors. You don't have to call on us, though, to help your neighbor. So if you see a neighbor who's not going to be able to dig out, please help them do exactly that. Business owners on all the business corridors in Washington, D.C., we need to get them open. A lot of businesses are opening, but your patrons cannot get to you safely. So please work together. If you're on a block, maybe every business on the block can help each other and clear the entire block. We need to get our business districts open. As I've mentioned before, the residential, we're not in this event focused on our residential areas for ticketing for snow removal, but we are very much focused on our business corridors. So businesses, you are subject to the law and you need to shovel in front of your businesses. Our fire hydrants, you know where they are on your block. Help us out. clear those out as well, so that if fire and EMS has to get to you, they can come directly to you. Chris is going to be talking more specifically about how the snow operations are being deployed. I want to thank our partners who are here. We had a relatively minor power outage last night, and the power company got those folks up in a couple of hours. We did have to move one of our warming centers as a result, but everybody, we believe, has power in the District of Columbia. I will advise at this time that we are going to close DC Public Schools tomorrow. DC Public Schools will be closed tomorrow. We will be further assessing our ability to open our government, but we're going to do everything possible to get our government open tomorrow. So with that, let me acknowledge a number of members of my team, and let me acknowledge the people who work for us in DC government, who have been working on 12-hour shifts since this storm began. And I got to tell you, from our road crews to our maintenance crews, to people who are out there moving snow, to our communications team, to people at our 911 call center, the people who are answering residents' questions, I am sincerely grateful for your efforts. We have had a remarkable show up of our employees. I asked every one of my directors, how's your attendance? And we have no attendance problems. So I want to thank my employees for the hard work that they are doing. I had the opportunity last night to go to all 8 wards in the District of Columbia after the snow stopped. And I saw our people out there working, our police officers, our road crews, and I saw neighbors helping each other. So we want to have them keep up that great work. The folks that are standing behind me have helped direct this effort and will direct us through the cleanup and recovery from this emergency as well. Our Director of HSEMA, Chris Geldhart, the City Administrator, Rashad Young, the Deputy Mayor and Deputy City Administrator, Kevin Donahue, the Director of DPW, Chris Shorter, the Fire Chief, Chief Dean, the DHS Director, Laura Zeilinger, the DGS Director, Admiral Weaver, the DDOT Director, Leif Jornshow, and the Chief of Police, Kathy Lanier. And Director Geldhart now will talk about the snow operations starting today, really starting last night, and we'll also hear from the Chief of Police.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning. My name is Chris Geldhart. I'm the Director of DC's Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency. As of about 11 o'clock last night, we went into our response phase of this operation. We are out there, we're plowing, and as you can see from your way in here this morning, we're making good progress in that effort. However, there's a lot to do. 2 feet of snow is a lot to move, and that's what we're taking on right now. We're going to be in our response phase for at least 24 to 36 hours, and our recovery phase for much longer than that. The response phase and the recovery phase will overlap. We'll be going through clearing the streets, plowing the streets, getting ourselves down to pavement and treating those streets so that we can keep pavement, as well as starting to pick up the snow and haul it off. That's what we're going to be doing over the next several days, and that's where we are right now. I do want to say the weather is going to be a little bit uncooperative with us today and tonight. As you know, it's cold. We're below freezing. As of 9 o'clock tonight, we'll be around that 20-degree mark where the salt that we put down on the roads that are wet becomes ineffective. We will have freeze conditions all the way through the night and well into tomorrow morning. We want to make sure that residents are safe. As you shovel and as you're finishing your cleanup, as you get into the later hours of today, it will start to get icy. Please be safe. Please stay off the streets. To that end, I'm going to ask the Chief Lanier to come up here and talk about what we need folks to do as far as staying off the streets and keeping yourself safe.
So I'll tell you, now this cleanup effort is a public safety issue. It is very, very important that we can get these streets clean and that our crews can get out here and get these areas that we need to access open for people to get out of their homes as soon as possible. So we're going to have to start stepping up and be a little bit more aggressive about asking our public, one, to not be walking out on the public streets. I know it is difficult to walk on the side because it's not clear either. But walking down the middle of the street is very unsafe, and it really hampers our ability to clean the streets. 2, vehicles, you really need to stay home. If you look at your news broadcast, you're going to see major streets that look good, right? You can see blacktop. They look very clear. You might even look out your window and see your street looks clear. And with that, I saw several times this morning, people see that picture and they come out in their car and they get 2 blocks from home and then they're stuck. And then our plows can't get through and we have to stop our operation to go and tow that vehicle out of the snow. So I want to warn folks that there are some very expensive fines and tickets that are associated with this. If you leave your home in your car and you get stuck on a snow emergency route, that's $250, plus there's the fees for having your car towed and potentially impounded. There is fines that range from anywhere from $100 to $500. So please, give our hardworking crews that are out here trying to get this our streets clear, give them another day or 2 to get the primary clearing done, and then we can start talking about getting back out on the street and driving around. So even 4-wheel drives, I again want to caution, we're seeing 4-wheel drives that are getting stuck out here. Even our snow plows are getting stuck. So the roads are still, there are still some very, very dangerous spots. So please don't take that for granted. Stay home for another day, 2 days. Give us a chance to get these roads clear. The longer you stay home, the quicker we get this done. Thank you.
Okay. Again, big cleanup today. We know folks are out there, as the mayor said. We need to get folks out shoveling the sidewalks. That allows us to take care of the things we need to take care of. Any questions?
1 second.
1 second. Sorry. Okay, again, absolutely. Go ahead, questions?
I saw some heavy equipment that was loading snow into dump trucks. Where are you guys moving the snow to?
We have several places that we're going to collect snow throughout the district.
Repeat the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. We asked if we can repeat the question.
In Southeast, I saw some heavy front-end loaders that are loading snow into dump trucks. Where are you guys moving the snow to? It's hard to push 2 feet of snow out of the way.
Sure. Sure. So the question is, where are we moving snow to? We are going to be picking up snow throughout the city to make sure that we can get the roads cleared and we can get people back to normal. We're picking that snow up. We have several places across the city. A primary place for us is bringing it down to Lot 7 in RFK. That's one area where we'll bring it. We've talked about that earlier in press conferences. We have other places throughout the city in the west side of the city, the south side of the city, the east side of the city. So that's really where we're looking to put snow. Yes, sir.
Did you feel pressure to get this response right after what happened on Wednesday when the city was gridlocked by a
So the question was, do we feel pressure to get this right, given the events that happened on last Wednesday? We feel pressure every time to get this right, because this is our job. This is what we do. We want the city open just as much as everybody else does. We want to open as quickly as possible. 2 totally different events. You can't compare what happened Wednesday night to what happened here. 2 feet of snow. This is a major operation. But absolutely, we're always compelled to make sure it gets done right. We still have no fatalities reported due to the storm itself. Other questions?
Could we hear from the fire chief about the response of the ambulances? Are you still keeping up with the ambulances and those emergency calls?
So the question is about our ambulances and keeping up with the ambulance calls. We'll let the chief answer that question.
So we're having a little bit of trouble getting into some of the neighborhoods, so it's a little bit slower. We're using the Humvees. We were able last night to get additional Humvees that are assisting us and being able to get into the neighborhoods. We're still getting a number of calls where we're putting people in queue for a few more minutes before we'll send the unit so we can transport them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Geldart, I drove through the middle of town, and a lot of the streets are clear, but people using snow blowers on the sidewalks are blowing the snow back into the streets.
Yes.
Any comment?
Tom's point was this morning we had blacktop on many of our major roads. That's a good thing. Our crews are doing their jobs. But as people clear out, use their snow blowers for the sidewalks, clear out their cars, snow's going back in the street, this is going to happen. And this is what we're going to be doing with this for at least the next 24 to 36 hours. A lot of snow. It's got to go someplace, which is why I said we're going to clear our roads, and then we're going to start to get that removal operation going. And it's actually happening now, as folks have said. They've seen the stuff out there. This is what we need to do. It's going to be a continuing effort.
And Mayor, oh, I'm sorry.
This amount of snow, what difficulty does it present when you put snow?
So the difficulties that this amount of snow gives us, vice what maybe a foot of snow, more volume. As Tom mentioned, people are going to be shoveling, put snow back into the street. We need to get the streets cleared so we can get in the hauling equipment so that then we can haul the snow off and melt it off. And that's really what we're looking at now. So it's a longer operation. We're working hard, and we're going to do everything we can to get this city back as quick as possible. Tom, you had another question.
I was going to say, Mayor, in addition to the sun being out, we have not had the power outages that you feared. That's worked out pretty well.
That is correct.
About power outages.
We're very grateful, and I think I want to thank our folks from Pepco who have been part of our discussions throughout. We only had a couple, I think, minor outages that were both restored pretty quickly. So we're very happy about that. Pepco was very well prepared, as we understand, in getting troops to help us. And in fact, we'll see if we need them to help us do some other stuff. So we feel very good about that. Yes, Pepco's here.
Could you tell us who you are, sir?
Mike Maxwell, Vice President of Asset Management at Pepco. This was a very good event for us, and we only had a few outages during the event, and we are going to support the mayor and her efforts as best we can with this snow effort as well. Well, over the last several years, as you know, we've had a reliability enhancement plan where we've been rebuilding the infrastructure in the city. It's made the system more resilient, and it's helped with events like this. So the winds, the tree trimming, all of those things have helped us with this event.
Mayor, is the goal to get the city open for business on Monday, or is tomorrow too soon to talk about having people come back in with, we don't know if the extent Metro will be running, we don't know how the roads are outside of the district. What's the goal for getting the city back to business? Maybe not back tomorrow.
We got a lot of work to do. Our goal is to get the city back just as soon as we possibly can. As you can see from the efforts that the folks did last night, we need to continue that level of effort, and that's what we're striving for. If we could get the city back today, we would have it back today. So we're going to continue to work that. We're going to be removing snow for most of this week, right? That does not mean we're not going to be back before that, but we need to get the snow out of here. That really gets us all back to normal operations.
Just stay home on that? Is it too early to just, you're asking people to stay off the road and stay in their house today. Is it too early to say just stay home tomorrow so you can get the work done?
We briefed out earlier. The question was, is it too early to ask folks to stay home tomorrow? As we briefed out with the weather, we're going to get a hard freeze tonight. And the chemicals we're putting on the ground, the salt that you all are standing on right now, is not going to make a bit of difference. It's going to freeze, which is why the mayor made the decision to cancel schools for tomorrow. We don't want to put our youth in harm's way. So we're asking folks to do the same thing. Don't put themselves in danger. Help us do the cleanup. Let us all get back to where we need to so that Tuesday, Wednesday, we're really getting back to where we need to be in the city. We already made our announcement on the schools and all that, so that's the safest thing for folks. Yes, sir.
What's this thought for tomorrow? I mean, rails, buses, what, all?
Sure, Bob. I'm Dan Stussel with Metro. So we've been working around the clock, as you know. We are commanding the recovery effort from our control center out near New Carrollton. We are assessing the conditions right now. We've got 130 miles of above-ground track that needs to be plowed, switches that need to be dug out. So it's a massive, massive effort. But we know that the region is counting on us to get service restored as quickly as possible. We'll have detailed information on what folks can expect for tomorrow later this afternoon.
And Mayor, the schools are closed, but what about the district government tomorrow?
We'll make an assessment about that a little bit later, Tom.
Military vehicles, Humvees, and military military personnel around town. I'm curious, what's their role in this operation? Are they been officially called in, or what's their role exactly?
Well, you know, I declared a state of emergency, which stands up the National Guard. The question was, what's the role of the National Guard and military vehicles in this operation? And largely, they have provided us with additional vehicles. And Chris, if you want to add.
You know, the biggest thing we need to do is make sure we can provide our emergency services throughout this event. There's areas where we can get to in military vehicles that we can't get to with our normal vehicles and our four-wheel drive vehicles. That's what we use them for. That was the primary operation. We actually helped use those to move commodities around the city to ensure that we could provide the services to residents in our warming centers and things like that. So they were a vital operation to us. We're very grateful to General Schwartz for his ability to help us the way he did and get the folks on the street.
Law enforcement. Is that what they're doing also?
No. No, actually, the National Guard in this case, and what we've used them for here in the city, is mainly transportation to help our law enforcement officers, our fire and emergency medical services to get to where they needed to go. Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you, everybody. We will expect to provide a regular briefing at 5 p.m. and we'll notice the location just as soon as possible. Thank you.